Tragedy of Mr. P, a piggy story, a tale of obsession, sacrifice, and the collapse of hope. Chapter 1, The Potato with Purpose. Before he was Mr. Payfez P, he was simply Percival P, a humble potato raised in a small town on the outskirts of Lucella. Unlike the other vegetable citizens who pursued farming or business, Percival had an unshakable fascination with medicine. From a young age, he read everything he could about biology, chemistry, and the mysterious ways of the body. He wasn't like the others. He had a purpose to save lives. He lost his parents to a rare illness that spread through their community, and that grief never left him. He vowed that no one else would suffer that way again. He worked tirelessly through medical school, graduated early, and eventually co-founded a pharmaceutical company, PES Corp, Pine Enhanced Solutions Corporation. Their mission? Create advanced cures for rare and terminal conditions. It was there he met Mrs. P, a brilliant scientist in her own right. She was strong, sharp-witted, and kind, a perfect balance to Mr. P's driven, sometimes obsessive nature. They fell deeply in love and eventually married, sharing a life dedicated to curing the incurable. Chapter 2, The Illness. Years passed peacefully until the unthinkable happened. Mrs. P was diagnosed with a terminal degenerative illness, a rare condition that slowly erased memories and bodily functions. None of their research, no treatment or medication could slow it down. Mr. P was devastated. He couldn't accept that he, a man of medicine, couldn't save the one he loved most. Desperation took over. Mr. P began working in secret, even breaking ethical boundaries. He experimented with unstable chemical compounds, blending animal DNA, neurological enhancers, and viral replication. Many warned him that he was going too far, but he was too deep in his obsession. After years of research, he developed what he believed was a miracle, Potion 121, a glowing pink serum. A prototype cure that could rewire the brain and restore lost functions. With tears in his eyes and hope in his heart, he injected it into Mrs. P. At first, it worked. She was better, stronger, happier. Then the side effects began. Chapter 3, The Birth of the Infection. Mrs. P started acting differently. Her emotions became erratic. She had fits of rage, then confusion. She stopped recognizing people. One night, she collapsed and had to be hospitalized. In the hospital, she attacked a nurse, biting them violently. Within hours, the nurse became hostile too, aggressive and unresponsive. Mr. P realized the horrifying truth. The potion was a virus, a mutation. It restored neurological function but destroyed the personality in the process, turning patients into mindless infected. The infection spread like wildfire. Hospitals became battlegrounds. Entire neighborhoods were quarantined. But it was too late. In his obsession to save one life, Mr. P had condemned millions. Chapter 4, The Collapse of Lucella. Lucella, once a peaceful city, crumbled in a matter of weeks. The infected overran public services. Law enforcement fell. People turned on each other, unsure who to trust. And behind the chaos was the one name whispered in fear and fury, Mr. P. He became a ghost, vanishing from the public eye. In reality, he went into hiding, racked with guilt. He tried to develop an antidote, a true cure to undo the madness. But it was difficult. The virus had already mutated, adapting quickly, infecting animals as well as people. He wasn't fighting a disease anymore. He was fighting a force of nature. Worse still, survivors hunted him, blaming him for everything. He built a mobile laboratory, an armored train car that allowed him to move between cities unnoticed. But the guilt followed him everywhere. Chapter 5, The Survivors and the Resistance. In the ruins of the world, survivors formed factions. One group stood out among them, the Safe Place, a community dedicated to protecting non-infected individuals and fighting for hope. They had heard legends of Mr. P. Some saw him as a monster, others as a tragic figure. He was eventually contacted by a group of survivors, including Bunny, a medic who had lost her family, and Doggy, a former police officer. They begged him for a cure, saying they had rescued a child who showed signs of immunity. Her blood could be the answer. Mr. P agreed, but under one condition. He would need full access to the child's blood, even if it meant harming her. The group refused. Distrust grew. Mr. P left again, believing that sentimentality would only lead to more death. Chapter 6: The Rise of TSP. Meanwhile, from the ashes of chaos, a new faction rose. TSP, the Silver Paw. They weren't interested in curing the infection. They wanted to use it as a tool to take control. They began capturing and experimenting on the infected, turning them into obedient weapons. They even tried to recruit Mr. P, offering him power and resources. He declined, but not before learning their plans. They wanted to finish what he started. Only this time, on purpose. In a fit of fear and fury, Mr. P destroyed his laboratory, making sure no one would get their hands on his work again. He then retreated to the carnival, a place once filled with joy, now twisted into a memory of happier times with Mrs. P. There, he waited, broken, haunted, alone. Chapter 7: The Final Encounter. Eventually, the player and the other survivors confront Mr. P at the outpost, his final stronghold. They find a man barely holding on to his sanity. Half mechanical now, due to injuries and experiments, Mr. Clade P is a shadow of his former self. When asked why he did it, he simply replies, "I was only trying to save her." A battle ensues, against Infected, against TSP, and against the crumbling foundation of what was once a world of promise. Depending on the choices made, Mr. P either sacrifices himself to destroy the last of the virus, or disappears into the wasteland, never to be seen again. Epilogue: A World Reborn. Years later, legends of Mr. P still linger. Some say he died a villain. Others say he found the cure and buried it beneath the earth, where no one would misuse it again. Some even say he still watches from the shadows, protecting the last humans in silence. In the rebuilt city of Lucella, children are told a bedtime story. There once was a potato who loved too much and lost everything. But a statue still stands in the ruins of the carnival. A simple plaque reads, "Mr. P, Scientist, Husband, Redeemer."